Anyone familiar with the old Superman television series? You notice that there was a running cliche in that program where the bad guys, whether they be bank robbers or holding somebody hostage or whatever the situation was, would just be intimidating everybody and demanding whatever it was that they were demanding. Arms ablazing, just looking all sorts of intimidating, just clearly nobody wanted to muck with them. Then suddenly, out of the blue, dun, 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 there he is with the big red letter S on his chest, the one and only Superman. Strong arms with his hands at his hips, just looking stoic and heroic, just ready to take on the bad guys. Now, everybody knows who Superman is. They know what he's capable of. They know that you don't tug on Superman's cape, as the old story goes. Well, typically, what did we see the bad guys doing anytime Superman swoops in to save the day? They think of that big red letter S on his chest as a convenient target, and so they just start going after him, guns a-blazing, bam, 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 pow, 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 and bullets just flying off of Superman's chest, just pew, 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 and nothing's hurting him, nothing's bothering him. His suit's not even getting ripped in the mass assault of all the projectiles. He's still standing there, hands at his hips, stoic and heroic, ready to take on the bad guys, waiting for them to just essentially come to a realization like, hey, I'm Superman. Unless you've got a weapon that's effective against me, namely kryptonite, anything that you throw against me is not going to hurt me, and it's only going to make yourself look like a jackass and a fool. But no, they still going in there, guns blazing, bam, 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 and Superman just stands there until eventually the bad guys just keep shooting and keep shooting, keep shooting until nothing but empty guns. They've fired all of their ammunition. Nothing's left to do against Superman except give up, right? And recognize, hey, I'm Superman, damn it. Time for you to go to jail. Put your hands up, let's go. But no, the idiot criminals always have an ace up their sleeve, don't they? Seeing how bullets, which travel at hundreds of feet per second, which can actually do some serious physical damage because of their small, compact, and streamlined shape, traveling at such a high velocity of speed, seeing how those don't hurt Superman, they rationalize that once they no longer have what doesn't hurt Superman, they figure out in this brilliant flash of epiphanous light of enlightenment that I know what'll hurt Superman. If I take this empty gun, this blunt object, and hurl it at him at full speed, which is, even in the best pitching arms, will probably get about maybe 60, 70 miles an hour. At the very best, maybe you might get a 90-mile-an-hour momentum coming from that. And I'm just going to smack him in the chest with this blunt object, which travels only at maybe 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, and that's going to do some serious damage to him. But again, they end up looking foolish, instead of just saying, hey, this is Superman, damn it. If bullets won't hurt him, what the hell am I going to throw a blunt object at him for with only strength that I can muster up in my arms as the velocity that I'm hurling it against him? I would be looking like a total complete idiot if I do that, but the bad guys always resort to that tactic because they're just idiots. Well, why do I bring up this analogy? Well, it's essentially because of the fact that with this whole little beef situation that we've been reactivating and that we've been calling people's attention to ever since the exposure of I Say This with Yak, all her little troopers and all her little cronies, all four of them, actually all three of them, because she makes up the fourth one. I'm beginning to refer to these four now as the Fantastic Four, because you've got, I say this with herpes, you've got Kara Smell Vagina Breath, you've got Spanish Hag, and now who decided who wanted to get in on the mix, because 3 people banging on the hornet's nest, infuriating the hornets and getting their asses stung wasn't enough, so she had to go in and start hitting the hornet's nest like a piñata herself, and running and hiding and complaining about the fact that the mad angry hornets are stinging her ass too, when she wasn't originally part of the whole thing. But, you know, idiots are as idiots do. So you've got these 4 that are just mutually cunt-licking one another in their little daisy chain, trying to be each one's little support group, because of the fact that they need some kind of an outlet. They need somebody to agree with them. They need somebody to share their bullshit stories on and make them feel like they're totally innocent and just put upon and did absolutely nothing wrong, don't bother anybody, and just making themselves look like the victims. So you've got these 4 now coming out, and they're acting just like the criminals that go up against Superman. They started off by shooting all sorts of accusations. You're stalking me! Pow 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 pow! You started this! Pow 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 pow! I didn't have anything to say against you for a whole year! Pow 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 pow! No, that mock channel that I'm using just appeared out of nowhere! Pow 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 pow! Yeah, you know, you're just mad and angry because pow 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 pow. Why are you just constantly beating up on me? Pow 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 pow. You won't go after anybody else, especially if it's another man who says some of the same things or says some of the worst things, and you just run away like a coward or you disappear. Pow 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 pow. Click 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 click. And see, they keep launching all their accusations. They keep twisting, they keep distorting, they keep lying, they keep fabricating, they keep manipulating, they keep taking things out of context, and each and every time that they do that, they get hit back with the truth. As like, no, you don't get away with firing these projectiles at Superman's chest. We're going to show you the simple fact of the matter is that everything that you shoot at Superman is going to bounce off his chest, and the way you do that is with evidence. You present the facts, you show timelines, you show email exchanges, you take wherever they've tried to twist your words and distort them, play back the crucial parts, keep things in context, let it all come to fruition, and that way, essentially, you don't have to be exposed by somebody else, because all the stuff that you keep firing at somebody is essentially exposing yourself. As I said on numerous occasions, if you let somebody talk long enough, eventually they'll tell you the truth about who they are or what they're doing or what they're about or what their agenda is. And the same way has been with this Fantastic Four, that just let them talk, just let them keep running their mouth. That old analogy, give them enough rope, they'll hang themselves, and that's exactly what they've done. Because now it turns out that they shot up all their ammunition. See, they can't spin their lie off of anybody anymore, because now people are hip to what's really going on and who's got truth on their side. And so they're saying the bullshit for what it is, and they're not following through with you anymore. So now you resort to your final ace up your sleeve, which is, oh shit, we don't have kryptonite to go against Superman, which would be facts, evidence, and truth. So since you don't have kryptonite, and you've already shot up all of your bullets, all you've got left now is to hurl the empty gun at Superman's chest. Not thinking, not realizing that after you shot up all your ammunition and that didn't hurt him, what makes you think that the empty gun thrown at his chest is going to do any damage to him? And so, what's the empty gun? This right here. This is what it's descended into. And I've said on many occasions that once you get somebody to the point where all they've got left is to launch insults and ad hominem attacks and just be nasty and vicious and say things that are intended to hurt your feelings without any evidence to back them up, without any truth on their side, without any shred of anything that will support their argument, if all they've got left is insults and ad hominem attacks, you've won. And here's the evidence right here. I told you. You tried to combat me with anything that you think that you can twist, distort, and manipulate. I'll set the record straight. Hey, General, why don't you just let this go? Why don't you just stop, let it die out? No. And here's the reason why I don't let it die out. To let them get to the point where it becomes patently obvious to everyone that truth was always on the side of General Backlash, and that these clowns were about nothing but trying to make stuff up completely out of their ass, or twisting and distorting things, taking things out of context, until they got to the point where they realized, like, oops, I can't shut this man up. I can't make him run away into the corner, or I can't get him on the defensive to where I make myself look like I'm being the one who's being vindicated with the truth on my side. He's exposing everything that we come after him against as being pure lies and pure rhetoric and pure innuendo, and totally, completely fabricated or manipulated in some sort of a way to try to make him look bad. We've got nothing anymore. Everything we keep coming up against him with, he keeps smacking it down. It keeps deflecting off his chest like bullets off of Superman's chest. So all we've got left now is the empty gun to just hurl at him. Maybe this is the last thing that will actually make him go away and leave us alone. But I told you, whenever it descends into a situation where, after all is said and done, the only thing they have left to come after you with is just nasty rhetoric and ad hominem attacks and just vicious, nasty insults, that's when you know you've won. And that's when everybody who's paying any attention, who's observant, knows who actually won the argument. See, truth doesn't need to resort to nothing but ad hominem attacks and insults. And even if truth does do that, as on occasion it does, it will still come at it with facts and evidence and something tangible on its side. Not just hurling ad hominem attacks or insults just for the sake of hurling ad hominem attacks and insults. Now it's gotten to the point to not only have you exposed yourselves, but it's patently obvious now who's even paying attention to your rhetoric anymore. Because now the only people who are listening to you anymore is the same daisy chain of the Fantastic Four, who are mutually licking each other's vulvas into being a little support group for one another, because you're the only audience that you've got anymore, because everyone else has finally starting to see through your bullshit and know that you've got nothing, you have nothing in your quiver anymore to try to defend yourselves. You've shown yourselves out for exactly who and what you are, and so the only support you're going to get is from your own little network of 4 daisy chainers, and maybe an additional 2 women who come in occasionally to side with you, just so they can try to take swipes at somebody or try to make themselves feel important in your little circle, and 2 or maybe 3 men who don't realize that you would just as soon chop off their testicles as they would welcome your support. But this is all you have left. Nobody's listening to your BS anymore. You've been exposed as frauds, as hypocrites, as charlatans, as somebody who doesn't have anything else. Now all you've got left is talking about somebody's mama, or calling somebody a male prostitute, or talking about somebody's skin tone, or talking about how you don't get any pussy, or your man's cheating on you, or this is essentially what it comes down to. When all you've got left are insults and ad hominem attacks, you've lost. And everybody sees that now. Here are your words, in plain as day. There's no disputing this. There's no getting around it anymore. You've got nothing left because you had nothing from the beginning. You never had anything, which is what this whole thing was about from the first place. You wanted to start shit. You didn't feel comfortable with the fact that, hey, you can't sling shit at somebody else and not expect retaliation. And when you got retaliation in the form of not only the same kind of bullshit that you were slinging, but also with facts and evidence and timelines to back the stuff up. And now you finally exposed your hand. This is who these people really are. I've been trying to tell you this for the past 1.5 or 2 years now, that this is exactly what this branch of this, like I said, I don't know. And it always seems to be these dejected, busted, broken, bitter, angry, lonely, used and abused, former cum dumpster, old crotchety ass females that seem to be on this kick. This is their support network, and the only thing that gives them any sort of relevance or importance in their minds is to just come after anybody else who's trying to support young love and trying to make the situation with young couples, trying to get a good start, a fresh start, not being faced with all the calamities that these sows actually had to face in their lives. So in order to see the next generation as saying, hey, it's good that you're not falling under the same mistakes that I made in my life. You know, let's see this next generation fix the problems that we didn't fix because we didn't know how or whatever the situation was. But no, black women, especially those who have been dejected and run through all their lives, hate other black women who do good for themselves. And here's the evidence right here. So this is all they've got left anymore. I told you they were on some bullshit from the very beginning. Now they've exposed their hands. Now they realize they've got nowhere to go. This is all they've got left. One another and the same bullshit insults that they launch at the people who exposed them in the first place, because they've got nothing else left. They've just thrown their empty gun at Superman's chest, and it's game over. So how does it feel to be made irrelevant? Are you happy now that you started the bullshit? Do you feel good now? Do you feel as if you've accomplished something actually? Because all you had to do was keep running your mouth and keep getting exposed. Now everybody sees you for the frauds that you are. So that all you've got left now are each other to play off of one another, because you're the only ones now who even believe your bullshit anymore. And of course you don't believe it either, because you know what the facts and the truth is. But in order to keep playing a victim, you need an audience, and your audience is your own little secret group of 4 original founding members, and the 1 or 2 few stragglers that come in who are just as dejected or just as unappealing or just as whatever the heck as you are, and so they find acceptance in your own little circle. But that's all you've got left. You've run out of ammunition, and then you tried your last desperate attempt to throw a blunt object at Superman's chest, not realizing that if everything else that you fired at him didn't hurt him, what made you think this was going to hurt him? So, as I said in this comment, I'm finally vindicated. At this point, I don't even need to say anything more else, because you've said it all for me. You've done the one thing I was waiting for you to do, which was expose yourselves. You have totally played your hand. Now everybody knows you were bluffing the whole time. Have fun by yourselves and amongst yourselves. Because now, thanks to your own words, you've buried yourselves. And nobody, but nobody, is coming running to your defense anymore. Because nobody is buying your BS anymore. Because you've proved me to be in the right and to be the bearer of truth the whole entire time. Welcome to reality. The reality of your irrelevance. End of line.